Hello everyone. Today, let us take you to our reconnection journey. We are a transdisciplinary team named Back to Nature. Our members include Hang Xu, Hong Yulu, Xiang Yuye, Ting Ting Chen, and Yunpeng Zuo. Our reconnection project is in the western part of West Footscray. This area is a culturally diverse neighborhood managed by the Maribyrnong City Council, in which 10% residents are originally from Vietnam, 5.8% are from China, and 0.6% are indigenous people. And the facilities in this area are not enough comparing to the surrounding communities. Carl from Google Maps comment wanted the paths to be better connected and safer. From the City of Maribyrnong Facebook page, Lara expected the infrastructure improvement. Marcus wanted a place for community to get together, and Mary felt unsafe cycling along Robert Street because the car drove too fast. I would like to invite everyone to recall decades ago, neighbors were familiar with each other, but now more and more people are no longer participating in community activities. We are wondering how we can get people back to the way they were before. The opportunities for reconnection include more community gathering spaces, the restoration improvement of the creek, cultural protection in the community, and the resolvement of the transportation conflicts. Our proposal aims to enhance the community connection, human-nature relationship, and cultural diversity by designing a cycling and walking network. Stony Creek Trail has been planned to be a 3-meter wide shared path. However, there is no separate footpath for pedestrians. To enhance human-nature connection, we would like to design the trail into a place where people are encouraged to walk instead of riding bicycles. This figure presents the Council's bicycle network plan. Since walking is more encouraged on the Stony Creek Trail, we'd like to add 2 bicycle paths, marked as green lines to the network. Robert Street and Indwi Street are high speed and high volume, and both can become protected bicycle paths. Beaumont Parade and Kala Street may not wide enough to set up separate bicycle paths, but can be upgraded to low-speed shared streets as supplementary bicycle paths.
According to the community voices that we received, we select these 5 potential spots to make transformation. Spot 1 is adjacent to McDonough Reserve and close to Stony Creek, so we try to use its surrounding resources and transform it into an open space for social activities. Spot 2 is an intersection of vehicles, bicycles, and pedestrians on the Stony Creek Trail. Therefore, it's quite dangerous in terms of transportation, and we are trying to resolve this conflict. As for Bassett Reserve and Hassan Reserve, the underutilized green spaces in these spots are in high potential to have more social events. In Bassett Reserve, it's currently quite noisy, and the bicycle scaling spaces in Hassan Reserve only serves for kids. So we try to apply some strategies to solve these problems. Spot 5 currently is in the area of data center, and local councils negotiating with them and want to buy Spot 5. And we try to utilize this area, which is close to the creek, to create more cultural and social gatherings. This is a future picture for this area. It will become a bicycle-friendly precinct. The Safe Bicycle Network will connect quality amenities to support community communication. People will be encouraged and attracted to engage with the natural and cultural heritage of Stony Creek. Keep this in mind, and later we'll explain them further. In terms of our implementation plan, our project will be divided into 5 phases, and will mainly focus on the first 2 stages.
Let's move to the phase 1.
So for our first phase, we focus on the activation of the Stony Creek Trail.
transform the road into important recreational corridors for local communities and cyclists, and cooperate with local indigenous community and residents to jointly design the Stony Creek Common, the traffic intersection, and some art installations. Through a series of programs and activities that encourage residents and cyclists to participate, the vitality of the continuous Stony Creek corridor will be activated. The first thing we see is the design of typical 3 meters wide shared road promoted in Stony Creek. Different materials distinguish the walkway and bicycle paths. Through continuous stony gap, the aesthetics of the walkway improved and the cyclist will be prevented from occupying the walkway. Then set inwardly protruding flower beds at a distance of about 70 meters in the bicycle line to narrow it to 1.2 meters, thereby slowing down the speed of bicycles to ensure the safety on the road. At the same time, these flower beds will be set near the newly built sculptures and seats, guiding cyclists to slow down, then stop and take a break here. We planned a program for those sculptures. As an important representative of culture in the creek, we will invite local schools to carry out the creative design of indigenous culture and invite indigenous artists to guide. Finally, these sculptures are distributed along the creek with other creative programs such as book exchange box and indigenous art wall and so on. For the Stony Creek Common, we will combine it with McDonald Reserve into a large open space. Set up bicycle racks along the road to attract cyclists. In the center of the Stony Creek Common, indigenous people will be invited to design the hard pavement of the cultural representatives, which does not affect the integrity of the open space and increase the cultural atmosphere. At the same time, more chairs with sunshade devices will be added to respond to the voice of the locals. Set up QR codes on the chairs for residents to learn more about the indigenous culture. For the two traffic intersections along the creek, the first one we designed the speed hump and road painting to slow down the traffic flows and also maintain the continuity of the trail. The second one, we will invite local residents to design the new iconic gate to separate different traffic flows. At the same time, bicycle rental and racks will be set up for the cyclists. Through all the design above, we hope to reshape the cultural and social value of the Stony Creek and make it a center where all the groups in the community can participate in design and experience.
Movements in Phase 2 is to upgrade Roberts Street and Beaumont Parade to resolve conflicts between vehicles and bicycles to improve conditions for bicycle riding. Lower vehicle speeds, especially below 35 km per hour, have been found to greatly reduce traffic risk. Traffic calming measures used in this phase include chicanes, narrow lanes, speed humps, and raised pedestrian crossing. Chicanes can force drivers to drive more slowly, can also provide landscape and street furniture. Narrow lanes tend to lower vehicle speeds as drivers become more aware of risk. On Roberts Street, chicanes, raised pedestrian crossings, and speed humps are used to create the protected bicycle path with planter buffers. These two contrasting street sections of Roberts Street indicate how we upgrade the on-road paved bicycle path to the protected bicycle path. Removing car parking on one side makes it feasible to set up planter buffers to offer protection for cyclists. On Beaumont Parade, designing parking zones as chicanes, narrow lanes, and raised pedestrian crossings are used to create a low-speed shared street. The arrangement of parking zones not only resolves the problems of random parking on Beaumont Parade, but also makes up for the loss of parking space on Roberts Street. Pop-up bicycle paths and temporary chicanes will be installed for 3 months as a trial before the final version is constructed. It provides an opportunity to test effectiveness, to investigate whether there are any negative effects, and to collect feedback from users. The trial can clearly show both the public and the council what will happen, and makes it easier for the final version to get support and approval.
So now we got to phase 3 to 5, spots to be designed in future. So first in phase 3, Facet Reserve has been disturbed by noise from Robot Street and the green space is not contributing to the community. So at this phase we plan the following aims. First, complete soundproof walls along the street. Outdoor climbing park for sports enthusiasts. And last, agility park for family with dogs around. What's more in phase 3 is that the original children's cycling park in Hanson Reserve will be expanded into a bicycle practice area suitable for all ages. These pictures are similar cases, and in phase 4 we'll expand the cycling path in the same way. As for phase 5, after negotiating with the data center, we'll win the site and build it into a community center to provide a place for community activities. These are references for the community center. And here we come to our outcome and barriers. Ideally, we would implement the previously mentioned aims, and the strategies and processes described can be employed in other neighborhoods within Maribyrnong City Council. We thought of these potential barriers like fundraising and money management, but I won't go into details because of the time issue. These are the references we used in the presentation. And this is the end. Thank you guys for listening, and any questions are welcome.